Hello, this is Patrick Keck. Our presentation is about the failed state of Venezuela, how state mismanagement led to an economic and humanitarian crisis. So we created this kind of outline. So today I will be talking about Nicolas Maduro, who is the president of Venezuela, the humanitarian crisis that is ongoing in Venezuela, and also its response to the ongoing coronavirus epidemic. So first I'll start out with President Nicolas Maduro. He was first sworn in as interim president after the death of Hugo Chavez. Uh, Soon after, he won the election on a very slim margin on April 14th. What followed has been just a gradually worsening situation in Venezuela. On January 15th of 2016, a state of economic emergency was declared, followed by a few months later, a constitutional emergency was declared. With growing dissent in Venezuela's legislative body, the National Assembly, Maduro countered this moot by forming a national constituent assembly. This was primarily full of members of Maduro's party, the PDVSA, I believe, and the basic reasoning behind that is he would be able to have more legislation that he would prefer passed because all the guys that were within the assembly pretty much were on his political party. So most recently, in January 2019, he was sworn in for the second term. However, Juan Guaido, he declared himself interim president, and Guaido is actually the president that many countries recognize as Venezuela's current president, including the United States. So what has kind of been a reason for a lot of the international backlash for Maduro and Venezuela has been this humanitarian crisis that has broken out. Maduro kind of thinks this is a little bit of an exaggeration, or as he put it, as a fabrication. It is believed since 2015 that over 4 million have left Venezuela. They have left for countries primarily Colombia and Peru, but also the United States, Mexico, Costa Rica, and parts of Brazil. And the main reason why Venezuelans are leaving the country are for many of these economic factors. GDP real growth rate in 2017 was negative 14%. The unemployment rate was 27.1% that same year. The budget deficit was minus 46.1% of GDP, and the stark rate of inflation in 2017 over 1,000%. All very troubling statistics, to say the least, and why a good reason why many of Venezuelans have left the country. So in more current times, the coronavirus obviously is wreaking havoc in world economic systems, and such is the case for Venezuela. As of March 18th, 36 cases had been confirmed. It is not believed that there have been any deaths related to it. One of the concerns, though, is Venezuela dealing with already its very poor economic system, also is not very equipped well when it comes to medical systems. A survey of Médicos Unidos was conducted, and 25% of respondents said that they actually had running water at their hospitals. And from that same group, 2/3 said they did not have gloves, masks, soap, goggles, or scrubs. These are obviously things that are needed to have a sanitary operation And with the concerns of just this disease spreading, not having that equipment is a chief concern. In response for this, Venezuela is seeking a $5 billion loan from the IMF. The IMF has set aside $50 billion to help developing countries in the pandemic, and Venezuela is actually believed to be the first country to seek this aid. However, since countries of the IMF, including the United States, who has veto power within this legislation, they have rejected it because they do not recognize Maduro as the legitimate president of Venezuela. Another concern within, coronavirus is the overpopulated prisons in Venezuela. The populations in Venezuela's prisons have skyrocketed over the past decade, and these are not well-maintained facilities at all. Many of them actually lack bathrooms. People have to sleep on floors, and due to just poor ventilation, many actually walk around shirtless and without shoes, all just ways for the virus really to spread. One way that is trying to counter is by blocking family visitations to these prisons. However, this is a way that a lot of prisoners actually receive their food. So the response to that from the Venezuelan government has seemingly almost created another problem by making a stop with this. So, yeah.